Hello, welcome to Lesson 3. So at this point, you have already turned in your protocols, okay, your team protocols. And so what you get to do now for this next group assignment is to evaluate your protocol by looking at two different teams. So what do I expect here for this project? You are going to analyze two teams. And so one thing I would encourage you to do is get creative. Have fun with this, okay? You are going to be using your top 10 statements, and you're going to look at those 10 statements of what makes an effective team by reviewing other teams, okay? Now, teams or small groups. So what are some examples I've had from students in the past? I've had students who love politics, and they have evaluated the Senate and Congress. I've had students evaluate the Packers. I've had students evaluate their workplaces or groups that they've been a part of at work, from work teams to centers where they have volunteered. I've had students evaluate Microsoft, different branches of the military, Army, Air Force, Navy, tennis teams. Okay, just recently I was watching, I love Netflix, and I was watching a documentary on the Eagles. And oh my goodness, my husband said next to me, this would be such a great evaluative tool for small group or teamwork. And I was like, brilliant idea. I'm going to share that with my students. So if you're someone that likes music, you could look at a band. You could look at, sports, politics, business. Don't limit yourself, okay? And so when you think about what teams you want to evaluate, you want to be able to bring in depth, research, evidence, and examples. And so in my book, let's say if you chose to do the Eagles, you could watch the documentary on Netflix, pull some quotes from there, do a little outside research if you want. If you want to evaluate, let's say, a work group that you are presently working with, you just need to have examples and evidence in evaluating your team protocol. So, what should this paper look like as far as layout? Okay, I want you to start with an introduction describing the two teams that you have picked. Then you are going to evaluate each team by your protocol. If you have 10 statements on what makes an effective team, you should evaluate each team according to those 10 statements. Now, some of those 10 statements are just going to have so much more depth, examples, possibly a site. And then some of those statements, it might be a bit more vague, but I'm looking for depth of insight for those statements. After you evaluate each team by your protocol, then I want you to describe and analyze, compare and contrast both of these teams according to your protocol. Which one was more effective? This might give you a clue, right? That if you compare an effective team with a completely dysfunctional team, you might have more clarity in that compare and contrast. And so that's a portion that you need to look at. Then I want you to look at lessons learned. I want you to have a portion in your paper where you are reflecting on the strengths of your protocol, strengths of these teams, weaknesses as well. And then finally, I would strongly encourage you to look at ways you could tweak your protocol, okay? One of the biggest points that I like to make as a professor is to look at ways you can improve. By saying I could make this tweak or that tweak is showing a level of thought and reflection to what you have been working on. It's not saying that you're weak or that you failed. It's saying that you have room to grow and that there's a way for continuous improvement. So I just want to reiterate here that when you analyze your two groups, please analyze them separately. Please give specific incidences, examples, personalize it if it's your work experience, and provide citations, whether it's to the textbook or outside sources. This paper project will probably be roughly around 10 pages. I've had students turn in projects that are 8 or 9 pages. I had one group turn in a 22-page paper, and I was like, wow. So it is up to you, okay? But I'm looking for depth of insight and clarity. I look forward to reading these papers, and hopefully then you'll have a little bit of a breather and a break as we begin reading Progress Makers. It's a fabulous read, and I just wanted to encourage all of you to just finish strong through the second group project. As always, if you have questions, please shoot me an email or a text, and I wish all of you the best of luck. Take care.